Wait. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is live. Windy City Savage in the house. Back at it to the studios, Windy City Studios itself. You already know. Go ahead, introduce yourself, co-host.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is me, the Pointer Man SG3. How y'all doing tonight? Let's go ahead and kick it off, brother.
And with that, let's start off the show. And right away, we got Roman Reigns open a Raw once again, stepping out of the limousine, greeted by Adam Pierce,
Yep.
telling him, had you listened to me last week, I could have fired the guy, and none of this stuff could ever happen.
Yep.
Which it looked like to Roman Reigns, when he thought about it, he says, well, what do you want me to tell you, man? I mean, that you were right. It's like, you know, it's too late for that now. You know, what happened. And so at this point, you know, he says he's going to call him out tonight. He's going to go in that ring, call out Jacob Fatu. Pierce says, no way, he's going to get fired. But before Pierce could let it out even more, Fatu music theme hits out of nowhere. They're both shocked. They're both looking at each other like, what the hell? And on comes Jacob Fatu with those fingers and I don't know what they call it. The tape, whatever, for that death grip. I like it. At first, I thought he got injured. I'm like, does this man get injured in his fingers or something? Because, you know, it looks like those.
The tongue does
yeah.
It, you know?
So I thought, all right, he got injured. But then I thought, all right, so he taped it up. That way he could, you know, look a little badass. And at that point, he calls out Roman. He says, hey, you know, you're going to call me out, Roman? I'm here. Bring your punk ass out here.
Yep.
And at this point, we thought Roman was going to come out because, you know, he should be by Gorilla by this point. But instead, we got the Usos theme song hits. Jay comes out with the chair. Jimmy's trying to calm his ass down, trying to be, you know, the one to, you know, bring down the situation. And at that point, he tells Jacob Fatu, yo, Jacob, what are we doing here, man? You told us anything to take. You told us anything to do to take to save your family.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that was acknowledging the tribal chief.
Did.
You were supposed to do so, but you didn't.
Yep.
You don't put your hands on management. Now they're going to fire your ass.
Yep.
You're going to go back to that lifestyle, back to prison.
Yep.
And you're supposed to put a better life to your kids. Instead, you're going backwards to that. And then at this point, Jay tries to hit Fatu with that chair. Fatu instead counters, hits, basically attacks Jay with that fucking chair. And at this point, Jimmy, no, actually, my bad. He death grips him, where Jimmy has to interfere, attack Fatu. Instead, he gets death grip.
Yep.
And then the back and forth, and Fatu basically fights off all these guys by himself until the tribal chiefs comes out himself.
Yep.
And starts fighting Jacob Fatu. And the thing is, you know, he had the upper hand for just a bit until he went for that Superman punch. Right away got countered into the death grip once again. But this time, Roman has his backup, and that is Jay and Jimmy. We had a super kick from Jay, didn't knock out Fatu, hits him again, wobbled him and knocked him down a bit. And at this point, Jimmy goes to the top, hits him with the splash.
Yep.
They pick him back up. Bam, 1D, knocks out Fatu for good for just a bit. He's still trying to get back up, and they tie him up through the ropes. So they have both hands tied him up to the ropes, and on comes the assault. We have Superman punch, super kicks once again, Superman punch, super kicks, Superman punch. Then we ended where the Uso sets up Jacob so he could get speared by the tribal chief. They leave. Pierce comes out, tries to, like, you know, calm the situation once again. And when it looks like it was going to be all over with, Fatu, you know, with some sort of miracle, gets a little strength, grabs the microphone and says, Tribal Chief, let's run it back one more time. You know, what do you say?
Tribal combat.
Yeah, well, at that point, they weren't announcing it yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he tells Reigns, and Reigns says, I accept.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, you know, we do got a match. It wasn't official because even the announcers were like, I guess we're getting this at Clash of Italy. So it wasn't official. Nothing was said and done yet. But that was your opening for Raw. It was decent for what it was. It's getting repetitive. You can't say that this is getting repetitive in a way too. I get it, but at the same time, man, it's like the same shit all over again every week. I don't know what their game plan is after Clash of Italy, but if Roman beats Fatu one more time, that should be it. Now, if it's vice versa and Fatu picks up the win, I'll be a lot happier, but I highly doubt it.
He's not going to.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is WWE and they like to play it safe. What do you think of this segment?
It was entertaining for what it was. It really did bring in the audience right away because it's been a long time since you got in some sort of like fight from the beginning.
Yeah.
So it definitely was. It was entertaining. I like the fact he was over here saying tribal combat, and when he came out, Dan and Pierce was like trying to tell him, "Hey man, you know what? I'm about to just fire him. I'm done. I'm gonna fire him." And he was like, "You know what? Cool. Go ahead, do what you gotta do. I did my business. Go ahead, and take away." Roman was like, "Take care of what you gotta take care of. I did what I had to do." And then turned around and it's like Jacob said, "You know what? Tribal combat." And that's when you hear Roman say, "You know what? I accept. Let's go one more time. Let's run it back." And I feel that at this point, they're doing a setup for Bloodline 2.0 or 4.0, 7.0, whatever the hell it is.
And how so? Like, what do you mean by that?
Because didn't you hear at the end what they said? Like after the match was official, they said, "And the loser has to acknowledge the winner." I'm like, oh, okay. There it is. So I figured eventually they're going to be like, "Yeah, you know what, Jacob, your family again. We're good. Come back with us. We'll be cool."
I don't know. So with that being said, if you think they're going to go that route, are you excited to see the Bloodline
7.
whatever?
7, 8.0, whatever, 6, 7.
Doesn't
No.
matter.
No. Honestly, no. I'm not.
Doesn't matter what fucking version this is. I don't like it. Myself, I'm not excited. It just seems the same copy and paste that we always get. We're getting this every single week with Roman and Fatu. I like that the fact that Fatu is on top, that they're making him still look like a badass. And it does. So we're going to get a little bit more of stuff to come later on tonight. I'm not trying to give any spoilers, but if you saw this segment, yes, the crowd did cheer for the OTC and the Usos, but it does seem very heel-tastic tonight in this opening segment against Jacob. He's the only guy fighting by himself. I get it. He's a wild, Samoan. He's a werewolf type of guy. And yes,
strong as hell.
Yeah, he's a heel, but yet it took you 3 guys to take him down. And then not only that, but you could have left them be. Instead, you wanted to punish them.
Yeah.
That's not face. That's a heel right there. That's a heel team once again. So it does look like we're heading that route. I'm not excited. I really ain't. What else? Let's see some comments.
Wyatt, my brothers, I'm here to say hi to everyone. I'm here in lovely Orlando, Florida. I just want to say, hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Wyatt, welcome to the show. Hopefully, you're having a great vacation.
Brother. He hit up that Hulk Hogan store. He sent me pictures. Honestly, it looked really good, man. I'm glad you're having a blast out there. Enjoy it. Watch out for them gators, man. Don't let them bite you on the ass. Honestly, dude, don't let them bite you.
Pythons, brother. Watch out for them snakes.
Hey, unlike these pythons, watch out for those pythons.
Nick, hey guys, no joke. I watched 0 minutes of Raw tonight, so just getting the scoop from me. Don't worry, brother. We'll go ahead and fill you in on what's going on.
I mean, just imagine what you saw last week, copy and paste, and you basically get the same old shit every single week.
Pretty much.
We did get a little bit of exciting stuff here and there. I won't say this tonight's Raw was bad because we did have some good matches. We also did have some good segments. I wouldn't call it great. I wouldn't call it bad. I'll just call it
in between.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent one. And you know what it is too? Is the fact that we have so much PLEs
in 1 month.
Not only that, but just in general lately. From Mania to Backlash to
Saturday.
And then Clash of Italy.
AAA.
Yeah, nobody really watches AAA.
I'm mostly watching that match, man.
Yeah, but it's like very few niche audience for that. So in reality, though, it's still like your main PLEs, it's too much. It's too quick. Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We got Zach Uso show.
Welcome back, brother. Long time no talk to you. Brock fucking Lesnar is back. We will talk about that soon, brother.
Yeah. Well, actually, we missed the one on top, brother.
Oh, Nick said, for the first time in a while, I have stopped watching the shows and just catch up on social media.
I mean, honestly, so if you watch the YouTube rewind of Raw, like the recap, you're not missing much.
Not
Like
at
you could
all.
really just go back, watch it. So unfortunately for us, we had to write down notes and stuff, and I wish I could do that, but I got to write down every fucking detail, man. So trust me, some weeks I wish I could just do that, not watch it, catch up in social media, and I feel like I didn't miss shit. I really don't, and you know what's worse than Raw is SmackDown,
Yeah.
because SmackDown is really just a filler show.
Have y'all talked about tribal combat? We were just talking about it right now, brother.
We're probably gonna go more in details as we go because we still have more to talk about, and we got that segment later on tonight where they did talk about the Usos and all this stuff to it. Laugh my ass off, snooze down. Yup, honestly, man. Honestly, dude, it's bad though. Like
It really is.
SmackDown, I don't know. I tried to watch it the other day. It's just it's pretty bad.
It's cringe, man.
It sucks because SmackDown was one of the most entertaining shows not too long ago, even on when it was on Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what happened to it, man. The mighty have fallen, unfortunately, and you could tell like they don't give a crap about that one. You know what this? So you know what SmackDown comparison now to me is? It feels like AEW's Rampage.
Oh, dude.
And but put it this way, that was an hour show.
Yeah.
We have a 3-hour show supposed to go to 2 hours pretty soon, or I think it might take effect pretty soon, probably like next month,
Something
the
like
beginning
that.
of the next month. But regardless, it's starting to remind me of AEW Rampage, how it had so much hype, especially the introduction of CM Punk coming back, and then all of a sudden it just goes down. It just went downhill. SmackDown kind of reminds me of that, where with Rampage, you can clearly tell Dynamite was the A show, Collusion was the B show. And Collusion came after Rampage.
Yeah.
They became the C show, and eventually they got rid of them. I'm not saying they'll ever get rid of SmackDown, but
I'll tell you this, man. You know what it reminds me of? If we're gonna go WWE, for most people that don't watch AEW, don't know much about it. I know it's not a good comparison because even this had more, but because it was an hour long, Sunday Night Heat.
not a good comparison. But I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Not a good comparison. You're right. No. Yeah.
Because it was only an hour, it was only Sunday, and you would have like your lower and maybe lower,
It was
higher
just jobbers.
lower tier and mid tier. You had a couple matches here and there,
So
and you would have like one or two come up. But no, it was just
it's hard to compare that because with Sunday Night Heat was supposed to be and was for the longest time, it was your jobbers match. And then when it came to the PLEs, the pay-per-views, sorry, back in the day it was pay-per-views. When it came to the pay-per-views, you actually had segments that involved the main event superstars showing up on Heat. That was pretty nice back then. But I get what you're saying, but then you also got to consider velocity as well. In the end of the day, those were just jobber, C shows,
Yeah.
really. Which I get what you're saying,
I'm
though.
just saying that SmackDown is that bad now.
I don't compare to Sunday Night Heat. I'm sorry, but you still have good main event and mid carders. The issue is we don't have storylines.
That's what we're missing.
Yeah, what else we got?
So at this point, Nick says it's crazy that SmackDown was more watchable when Road Dogg was booking than it is now. Who's booking now?
It's a woman. I forgot her name, but she took over Road Dogg's duties, and now she's booking that show. And I don't mean it in a bad way, women this, women that. No, I know it's a woman that took over Road Dogg's duty, but it is kind of funny how for the longest time we say fire Road Dogg, fire Road Dogg. Now we fire Road Dogg, and look what happened. It made it worse.
So much worse.
Maybe Road Dogg was the one that was saving this fucking show to be watchable every week.
So
What else we got?
Zach Uso show. Oh my god, I searched up WWE and Brock Lesnar's trending. I believe it, honestly.
I mean, yeah, it was a shocker. I'm not gonna lie, it was a shocker. I did not see it coming.
Yeah, did I? I heard, and then Nick says I heard Drake dropped a line about Roman Reigns and Iceman.
I mean, there's a lot of lines in there. There's Wrestle It. There's even a Benoit reference, unfortunately, which I don't like. Well, I saw. I don't know. I don't like Drake personally. I don't
like
listen
Drake
to his shit. It's not that I'm a Kendrick fan. Oh, even though I am, but it's really just I don't listen to his music. Never really did. But if anyone else knows any reference, because I heard Wrestle It and I heard Benoit and I heard all this stuff supposedly. I don't know. I saw it on social media. Maybe I'm wrong, but anybody out there want to fact check me? You're more than welcome, because I'm not planning to listen to that. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll do a review for fun. You know, one
What the
day
hell? Why
we'll
not?
put it on and just say, let's fuck it, let's just hear it. But regardless, honestly, man, I don't know, dude. I don't know where this is gonna lead to after Clash Ability.
I feel like it's already in the written in the stars, and this is gonna
But
happen.
what if let's just put it this way? What if Roman loses then? I would look,
If Roman loses, it's gonna blow my mind. I'm gonna be completely shocked. If that'll
okay,
be just like you, and
and
again,
and let me tell you why. He's not gonna appear at any point for the tour of Europe.
yep,
He's not. So that means, in a way, maybe they already decided he's going to drop the title of Fatu. They are making Fatu look strong every week.
that's true.
So now, if you have Fatu in your fucking bloodline, you're kind of OP at this point. So why even have that? Why not instead give him the title and have basically the Usos acknowledge him? What else we got?
Also, Brock with his jeans again.
Yeah, probably.
No,
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Alrighty, so put it this way. On to we cut to a promo that Finn cuts on JD and about him betraying them because tonight they have a one-on-one match on a street fight. Balor comes out because he's obviously going to face JD, and that's up next. They go at it back and forth. The street fight was vicious. One thing to mention is these suicide dives, guys. I'm just going to mention this now. I've seen it quite often. There's been injuries, there've been headbutts, but suicide dives to me are starting to get dangerous. So when I saw earlier when JD went for the suicide dive, he hit Balor. Balor almost hit the table pretty hard.
Yeah,
And had he missed and went a little closer, he could have hit the table first. Look, suicide dives are kind of like the super kicks. They're just overdone now, and I don't think they're that safe all the time. Look what happened to Io Sky not too long ago,
yeah.
where she went face first, dived in, and looked pretty bad how she cracked her head and everything. At some point, I think too much is too much, and some of these moves that are more dangerous, you got to backtrack a little bit because we've seen it before. Suicide dives could lead to potential injuries.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's just my opinion. But we did see a lot of crazy shit. They took it to the outside. We saw JD McDonough land a perfect moonsault from the outside all the way to the top. It landed. Balor caught him. Bam. It was beautiful. From that, we went to the commercials. We come back. There's more tables broken. There's more weapons pulled out. And obviously, with all that being said, when it looks like Balor was about to win, out comes Dominic Mysterio to save his friend, JD McDonough. And that he does. He goes in. It's a 2-on-1 match, obviously, because we know this wasn't going to be a fair fight.
Never is.
Nope. So Dominic Mysterio pulls out a trash can, hits Finn Balor. JD sets him up and holds him down. That way, Dominic Mysterio could hit a 619. And when he goes for it, Balor counters, puts JD on the rope. Dominic doesn't see it, which I don't understand. You know, he must have gone that quick. But instead, he hits JD McDonough. He looks shocked. And that's when Balor takes off Dominic Mysterio with the garbage can.
Yep.
And then afterwards puts on that garbage can into JD's head, drop kicks him. And then from that, we set up a coup de grace. And then bam, goes for the win. 1, 2, 3. Finn wins clean. He beats basically two guys in one match. And we pick up a win, honestly. But so here's the thing, man. Where do we go from here? With this whole Judgment Day and Finn Balor. I'm gonna ask you this, SG3. You think this is gonna be over already?
I hope it is.
I don't think it is.
I know it's not. Listen, I said I hope it is.
Okay, so where does it not lead to if it's not? You know what I mean? Like
It's gonna lead to another bogus match between either JD and Finn or both of them against Finn, and he's gonna have to call up the demon.
well, I don't think it's gonna happen because one, this was the best out of three. They made that official tonight, saying that one man got one win, the other man got the other win. So this was supposed to be the tiebreaker that basically sets that off. I don't know if it'll be a 2-on-1, man. WWE does not like the 2-on-1 situations too much, unless it's like Obafemi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think eventually we are going to get Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor at some point down the line for the Mega Championship if Dominic Mysterio still holds on to that title by then. I don't see JD coming back unless he's in. Alrighty, guys. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. As we went live, we got cut off a little bit. It happens, guys. It hasn't happened for quite a while, so I'm actually happy with that. Alrighty, on to the next segment. Guess what? Guess who's back? Seth Rollins is back. Interviews. He gets interview here
Mm-hmm.
where he asks, "Is it wise to keep pursuing the vision?" He says he knows he is a marked man. He has zero allies.
Literally.
Sooner rather than later, he has to put an end of this vision. And the easy way situation is to run right through it, which he ain't wrong,
Yeah.
Just run through the whole issue, which sometimes I agree with that. There's the one time I agree with Seth here. He also knows he hasn't had a match on Raw for 9 months. Who would have known that?
Well, honest, I didn't even know that.
So that means probably when he got injured, I would say September then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so September was around the last time he had a match, which I didn't know till you mentioned that. Well, you forget he got injured for so long and he hasn't really wrestled. They try to keep him conscious. So now I think he's at 100, so he was able to wrestle tonight. And at this point, he says he wants to go against any member of the Vision. And he thinks at this point, he calls out one guy, and one guy specifically, the guy he thinks that so-called he's ready, but he's not. The guy thinks he could beat him, but he can't do it on his own. And that person is Braun Breaker. And he asked him, "Who are you really, Braun? A Nepo baby who can't hack it? An athlete who turns wad of potential everything you say you are? This is your chance. Main event tonight of Raw. Show me who you are tonight."
Mm-hmm.
So he calls out Braun. And he does. And at this point, we go on to the next segment, and that is Byron interviews Sol Ruka and talks about her last two incredible matches she had. And at this point, ask her how she feels. She says she's stoked that she got to wrestle these two women. And yes, she hasn't won, but she thinks she put the locker room on notice with those matches. Well, look, man, I like Sol Ruka. Can't deny I like having her on Raw. So
She adds a little. She has a big flair to the to the women's division on Raw. It definitely does boost up the women's division. So
Okay.
it's like, you know what, with her doing what she's doing, even that, yeah, you're right. She is 0-2, but it's like, okay, cool. I'm always gonna bring my A game. Bring yours too.
right.
So I can see that happening.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. And then at this point, Becky interrupts. She says, "Are you sure? Like you're putting people on notice? I don't know about that, She's looking around like, I don't notice anything. And says she isn't doing so well since she's 0-2, and she thinks she bit off a little bit more than she could chew. And at this point, why don't you just go back to NXT? And at this point, she looks at Becky and says, "You know what? I think I will walk away. Like you said, I will go back." And so at this point, Becky talks to Byron and says, back in my day, before she gets to put that word off, Sol Ruka makes her way into the ring. So I guess she was walking back into the ring. And at this point, she says, she calls out Becky Lynch saying, let's just cut to the chase, Becky. Come out here. And if you say you are the man you are, come out here and face me, in the ring one-on-one. And so Becky does come out. And she does face her at this point, and then makes her way to the ring. Becky's mad and saying, "What's the meaning behind this, Soul?" She says she's not going back to the NXT. She works too hard. So let's go at it one-on-one. Becky says she wants to face her. She says yes. Becky answers no, 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 no. So she gets major heat at Greensboro, North Carolina. And Becky says she doesn't pride herself on being the greatest female wrestler. I don't just pride on that. She prides herself on being a locker room leader and many to the youth as well. And Sol Ruka wants to step up to her just like AJ Lee did. Look how bad that ended, she say. And also like Lyra and Maxine. I forgot the whole Maxine feud she had with Becky. That was pretty bad.
That was terrible.
Yep. She says Soul's not ready. She needs to go think about it. She thinks, and when she thinks she's ready, she'll face her at Saturday night's main event.
Ooh.
She's not a star maker. She's a star breaker.
Oh.
Soul says she won't just snatch her soul. but she wants to snatch her title as well. So Becky says she hasn't said nothing about it, about her title. Becky, at this point, says she thinks she's ready to step on the ring. Well, welcome to the big times, rookie. And at that, she walks away. So I guess it's official. Saturday night's main event. We got Becky
Two matches
versus
officially.
Soul for the titles match. Well, we didn't get it official till later on to the night. That whole, comeback thing. I don't know why it took that long to make it official, but regardless, one-on-one title match. I don't know. I think it's just too soon because whatever direction they're gonna head to,
Soul's not gonna win, dude.
well, then that makes it look bad. That makes it look stupid because you brought in your hottest female superstar from NXT to face off Becky Lynch, and she's not going to be Becky. She's 0-3 at the main roster. How's this putting Sol Ruka over? She hasn't won a match.
That's true.
So if she doesn't win Saturday night's main event, it's beyond stupidity. She needs to win. It's not even she's not going to win. She needs to win. Or else, honestly, this whole bringing Soul to the main roster was just all for nothing. Which I don't doubt they're doing, but still. Anything else you think of this segment?
I like the fact that Soul Ruka's holding her on the mic against some of the top players on the mic, because regardless of how people feel about Becky, she's always been able to hold her own on the mic. So Soul kind of holding it with her, it shows. You know what? At least I'm gonna hold my craft this way. Now you know what? Totally forgot. Yeah, she's 0-2, but at this point though, let me go ahead and ask you a question then. If Soul wins, what next?
So Soul wins. She obviously becomes the Intercontinental Champion.
Past that, what's
past
next?
that?
What's
just
next?
trolling there. Yeah, I know.
Thank you for making.
Well, let me make it obvious, man.
Thank you,
Damn,
Captain
bro.
Thomas. Appreciate you.
Come on, man. I know you're having an off night, but I didn't know you're not kidding. Regardless, she beats her. She wins the IC. From there, she would have to set up a feud with the next heel, which is hard to say right now on SmackDown because Liv Morgan's your top heel. Judgment Day is invested right now with Paige and Brie. Who else is out there really on Raw? That's a top heel.
There's no heels.
There's no top heels. So here's the thing: if she beats Becky, they're gonna have Becky run it back.
Yep.
And go after Soul, which will lead to the next pay-per-view, and then potentially will probably end by SummerSlam, which I'm not really excited for.
But at this point, though, the next pay-per-view is Clash of Italy,
which doesn't make any sense for them. I think that card's going to be booked already. It's already booked, actually. I think it's already filled up. They're only going to have 5 matches at the max.
We're getting a treat now from WWE. We're getting 5 instead of 4.
No, it's always been 5 max.
We always got 4 last year. It was so many with 4. I thought it was the norm.
No, it was 5. It was 4 on some ones, but it usually was the max 5. But like I said, it's already 5 matches. I think it's already filled up pretty much at this point. We're not going to run it back at Clash of Italy. We're going to run it back to the next PLE after that, which would be, honestly, I don't know. They did Evolution last year, which they're not going to do again. I doubt they're going to do Women's Evolution.
I know they didn't say anything for June just yet, but I know that July 18th they have another Saturday Night Main Event.
So potentially they can run it back there, which I'm not really excited for. But okay, so regardless, we're in a scenario where Soul doesn't win. She's 0-3 to the main roster. It looks pretty bad. It doesn't make sense for a call-up to be this bad already, meaning like her push is not much of a push. Yes, they're great matches. No denying that. Even with a few vouchers from Soul, it's still great matches. But at the same time, she doesn't beat Becky at Saturday Night's Main Event. What's it for? And that's even if Becky wins with an interference by another superstar. It still looks kind of dumb on this whole part and creative of Sol Ruka. But if she beats Becky, so that means the feud will continue because there's no other heel that Sol could face in the women's division on Raw. And I'm trying to think as I say that, but there really isn't. Like Asuka just left. And she won't be back probably till the end of the year. If so, honestly, yeah, Bailey, Lyra, they're still faces. They're going in that tag team division type of stuff. Yeah, nobody.
Only EO. Um, only EO, dude. If you think about it, right now the women's division is two tag teams: Sol Ruka, Becky Lynch,
And what?
And Io Sky.
So what are they doing with EO too? So if let's just say it's face versus face, it makes sense for Sol and EO to face off right after. But I don't think this whole Becky and Sol Ruka would be done if Sol does win the IC title, which is hard to say, man. I don't know. It's so weird right now how this whole feud is going about. It's hard to say because either position doesn't make any sense. It was just quick to jump into, really. Now that if you're thinking about it, they should have let Soul Simmer get a couple of wins.
And then,
I honestly think she should have beat Liv. She should have beat Io. And then this whole Becky thing would have made sense for her to lose. And I get it. Liv's your top star right now. But it could have been one of those like quick roll-ups, I gotcha moments.
Yeah.
And same thing with Io. And I don't think anybody would have been mad. But instead, like, yes, I get it. They had to go over, but still, it just makes Sol Ruka look kind of sad right now. Unfortunately, because I really like Sol. I think she's potentially going to be the future of WWE. Yeah, but right now, it doesn't look great for her. On to the next segment, guys. All right, so we see the Vision, and they're talking about the Street Profit, talking a little smack here and there. And Braun Breaker comes out and tells Heyman, make it official. Seth versus Braun tonight. Heyman says he thinks that's a great idea. But instead, how about we do Theory versus Seth Rollins? And when like you see the facial expression of Theory and Logan, like they're shocked. And they're like, hey, they're hyping each other up. And Logan's like, you got this, Theory. You got this. Theory's hyped up and shit. And then Braun tells the guys, hey, let me get a word right now real quick with Heyman. And he tells him, Heyman, what are you doing here? Like, what's going on with this? And he goes, like, look, he tells Braun, look, I know you could beat him. I do. Paul says, now see, at this point, you know where he's going to be at tonight. You know what time he's going to be there. And his hands will be full tonight. Maybe you should go out there and run this play yourself. And with that, Braun thought about it. And he's like, all right, I like your idea. And he leaves happy. All right. And at this point, we had the match set. Theory versus Seth Rollins. It's official. What do you think of this segment?
Funny. It's funny. It cracked me up a little bit.
Okay.
Because again, it was unexpected. Because you're like, all right, cool. He's about to make it happen again. Everyone's expecting a big old show, Braun versus Seth. It's like, we'll give you guys a C one.
Did anyone expect that we're really going to fight tonight? I right away thought, no, there's going to be another Vision member. I had a funny theory that it was going to be Theory. I doubt it's going to be Logan Paul, because they still trying to make him look strong. And he usually is Bronson Reed, but he's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has to be Theory right now. He has to be the punching bag. And he's pretty much been.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's pretty much the guy they set to lose basically every match. So this guy was supposed to be the big hype guy coming in, the unmasked man and all this, but instead now he's the punching bag of the Vision. Funny. All right, up next, your favorite segment of the night. I know you were happy with this one.
Heck yeah.
Los Americanos Hermanos and the OG Grande Americano come out tonight because they're going to face off Los Americanos with Grande Americano in El Trios Tornado match.
Yep.
And honestly, this 3-on-3 match tonight was pretty good. I think this was one of their best segment matches that these guys had because it was actually entertaining. At some point, we did see that all members of Los Americanos plus Grande Americano put on that faceplate for basically, all three of them put on tonight.
Yeah.
And they were trying to attack basically OG Grande Americano, and they were unsuccessful. And that is when the Hermanos came in to save OG.
Americano.
Yep. And from there, they both German all members And I love this spot. They all went to the top and did a moonsault. That was a pretty good spot. Honestly, pretty good moment right there. This match was a little bit entertaining, but of course, when there's face plates involved, there's dirty tactics.
Yep.
So at some point, Grande Americano got OG tricked by using a cape like a bull, got him distracted, threw OG across the barricade. From there, the Los Americanos came in, attacked the rest, and that's why they set up Grande Americano to hit one of the hermanos with the faceplate on for the victory. And we got Grande and Los Americanos picking up this win. Look, this is gonna drag. Yeah, I was gonna say this is gonna drag for another one. Honestly, out of all the matches, this was the better version of it. But it's still, I would like to see this end pretty soon.
One more
So
week. That's it. Just one more week. I've been saying for the longest time, just X amount of time until it's over.
yeah, so like regardless, I would like to see this over. It's been entertaining, but it's gonna start running its course even worse if we don't get this to end pretty
It's
soon.
because here's the thing: they overdid it.
They did.
So it would have been perfect if they would have just kept it on AAA, done a couple things here and there. By the way, quick comment from my honey, Analia Azul. Hi, baby. She says, "Hey guys, appreciate the comment, baby." Back to what I was saying though, and by the way, her and I are kind of excited to watch this. We're already laughing and talking about this. But aside the point, I feel like they shove it down your throat so much, and it's like, dude, we get it. It's a big match, mass versus mass, something that's never happened in WWE's history, even though it's technically not even WWE, it's AAA.
Well, it's not. Yeah, I was gonna
Again,
say
it's AAA. Yes, it's 51% owned by WWE, so it's like I get why they're trying to do it because it's so big because it's never been even with any one of their partners.
but and here I'm gonna stop you though. No offense, dude, but you're acting like AAA is on the same level of SmackDown, Raw. I don't even think it's on the same level of Dynamite, man. They're not getting the same views. So to have it on a show where it's not going to be watched, even though it is free on YouTube, I'm guessing,
It is for YouTube.
we're still not getting so much eyes on that product, unfortunately.
This is what I was actually trying to get to. I get it, but you ran this in AAA, you ran this in Raw, ran it back on social media. Like that's what I'm saying. It was overplayed in that way. So I would understand if you did a sprinkle here, sprinkle there, that's fine. But the moment they said I can't touch you in Mexico, but that contract's only good in Mexico, it's here. So it's like, oh, so you're gonna just literally run this well dry until until May 30th, where people are just gonna say, we just want to get this thing over with.
It should have, dude.
That-
It should have just ended at WrestleMania. It should have never even gone this far.
That I think you know what though, I will agree with you. If it was at WrestleMania, so many more eyes would have been on AAA.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they could have had sponsored by AAA. They could have had a few guys from AAA.
Yeah.
They could have had a lumberjack match.
Yeah.
It would have been smart. Lumberjack match, OG versus Grande with
Match
a couple of AAA stars around, show off their big hell. Had Omos there too.
Yeah.
You know, had all those guys out there. Yeah. Yeah, you could have had everybody, and it would have showed off potential star power AAA. Instead, you dragged it out, and like you said, they put it on show. See, I don't have anything against it being shown on Raw. The issue is just that we had 2 extra months of storyline that
Yeah.
we did not need.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, if you know, the ending is not going to be, to me, the ending's not going to be as great as it should have been.
Yeah.
And it's gonna, like I said, putting it in AAA, I get it. It's to bring more eyes to the product. Now, will they boost the ratings? Probably so.
Hopefully.
I don't think though, like I said, man, they're not getting that much views there. It's still on a fucking C level. I'm giving it credit though. C level PLE, C level show.
Yeah.
But not on the B tier, man. I just don't. It should have ended on the A tier at WrestleMania.
Especially for what they said, mask versus mask.
Yeah, but instead, this is how much this is how much the storyline of it just went to shit.
Especially because this wasn't this like done from February that they announced this match.
Yeah.
So
Well, it was never announced. It was led. to
no, it
eventually-
actually was. It was like, dude, I remember watching it because it was during the Penta thing. So Penta was April, March. Penta versus Hijo de Vikingo. During then, that's when they said mask versus mask. Let's do it. Just for all the marbles, mask versus mask.
I really don't remember that. I watched that pay-per-view. I don't remember that.
I remember that part because yeah, he was like mask versus mask, man. I'm tired of it. Let's go. I was like, dude, like from there to now, That's almost 3 months of just a storyline that just didn't have to go.
Well, if it was Masters is Masters, why did they announce it there? And then eventually they waited till what, April after WrestleMania to announce it for May? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I also don't. I don't know. Did they really say it? Because that doesn't make sense. Storyline to wait that long and then put an official date after WrestleMania. You know what I mean? None of it makes sense. It just this is the whole thing. It's just like it should have ended early. Once they introduce the two characters, you want to end this quickly. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Regardless, man, we're gonna see in a couple more days. We're gonna see what happens, you know, and who gets the victory off of that. And then at this point, we get what a guy is seen delivering DoorDash to American Alpha. This was so much exciting stuff, man. Corey Graves and Michael Coles were losing their shit over this. What a guy. I didn't know that was a thing, though. What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy. What is that shit supposed to be like? Whataburger?
It's Whataburger, yeah.
Whataburger, right? Yeah, we don't get that out here, but I know it's Whataburger because I recognize the logo, but also I didn't know it was a mascot. What a guy! Like, interesting. It's that they're Ronald McDonald's out there, I guess. And then at this point, we do see Jay and Jimmy afterwards get interviewed and then asked about the tribal combat as they explain what this match really means to the family bloodline. You know, and they're, getting really into deep discussion here.
Yeah.
Until we got the returning LA Knight.
Yeah.
Come out, looks disappointed at the Usos, and then Jimmy tells LA, hey, not right now, Us. And then LA says, or what? Y'all gonna jump on me like you did Jacob tonight? Not too long ago, they all teamed up against Division because Division were doing this type of tactic. But now it looks like they're the ones attacking everyone else. You know? And then, by the way, we got a yeah.
We got a yeah from Zach Uso show.
So at this point, LA says, if you're just everyone, you're no different than they were not too long ago. And he tells them, like, if that's the case, he's going to have to do something, because if this is the point, he says, give dirt, y'all going to have to get dirt. And then at that point, he says, yeah. And Jimmy still says, not now, Us, and walks away. And everybody walks away at this point. So the fact that we have not seen LA Knight for quite a bit, because he's been disappeared. And I honestly thought it's kind of odd that with the budget cuts, he disappeared.
Yeah.
When they're talking about the 50% pay cuts, he disappeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He comes back for this segment, and now he's reinserted himself into the whole bloodline type of angle. I don't know what's going to happen, man. All I know is LA Knight's going to get fed into somewhere. And I'm said fed is, and he's going to get destroyed by one of these guys tonight.
Yeah.
He's going to eventually get fed into the Roman or Fatu, one of these guys.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's fine.
There's not that much storyline. It sucks because when he came out, the crowd was so over with LA Knight.
Even I was over. I was like, yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's one of the best guys on the mic. He's very talented. He could wrestle.
He can.
I think LA Knight should have been champion. I still push for him to be champion.
And not a mid-carder, like a
actual champion. But, with the crowd's going to be invested to him, man. He's one of those guys that just have the natural talent to be a superstar. But unfortunately, WWE's never going to see that. So what else we got for comment?
Zach says, also, what the hell is that Jey Uso haircut?
Honestly, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to it, but actually, now that you say that, it did look weird. He looked a little off tonight, and I was wondering what it was, about Jay. That looked a little different. Yeah, now I know what you're saying. Yeah, he looked a little odd. I don't know. I don't know what you call that type of haircut, but he looked really weird. It was no Yi tonight. No Yi. No Yi with the hairline, bro. None at all. All righty. But anything else you want to add to this?
Honestly, like I said, we were saying, it does bring back LA Knight. All speculations now off. Now we just got to figure out where CM Punk is at. At this point, though, honestly, it's good to have LA Knight back, but it's bad because it's like, dude, you could do so much better. You could do so much better, get paid so much more, and be a champion where you deserve to be champion. But that's just me.
Hey, I get what you're saying, but sometimes to some superstars, WWE was the place to be as a child.
Yeah, and they're living the dream. So hey, man, if you're a dreamer, I 100% agree with you.
And the issue with LA Knight is that he's old, man. He's
Yeah.
in his 40s.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like he probably knows too the time is starting to come up and he's not going to be on top forever. So he says, you know what, I'll just ride it out. And if they bury me, they bury me. But you know, at least the fans could always be on my back in the end of the day.
and the
Because we all
merchandise
are.
gonna sell.
Yeah. What he said.
You're gonna go heal 100%.
LA Knight?
I was kind of like he's already like the way he talks. Like if you think about it, he reminds me like a Stone Cold when Austin wasn't face. He'll get cheered, but like there's comments where he said that made him heel.
So he's an anti-hero.
He's anti-hero basically. Yeah,
I agree. He's more the anti-hero. He's more the Austin type, I guess you could say, the badass, which I agree. I think that fits him well, where he's not a face, he's not a heel. He just does whatever he feels is necessary to do for the WWE. And honestly, if WWE is smart, they should push this guy up there. They should put him a title on him because this would sell.
a lot.
This would be great entertainment. This will boost up ratings.
Imagine the title. I love it.
See, I don't put no gimmick towards it. It just needs to be simple, man. Give the man the title and let them go out there, cut promos every single week like Austin did, and it would go over. It will go over fine. I don't understand why WWE doesn't see the marketing in this guy. He still gets over. That's the sad part. He gets super mega over every week he comes out. But unfortunately, it's never gonna happen. I mean by Jay, not LA. Okay, so Jay, I could see
Jay, Jimmy, Roman. I can see that.
but what if it's just Jay? What if what if it's just Jay Uso turning heel? Because Jay's been more of a heelish type than the rest of the guys
That's true.
for the last couple of months. Not even weeks. Remember the whole him getting frustrated, throwing shit around, and that never came about anything?
Yeah.
What if we finally get that finished business? What if all that simmering finally simmer and we got the final product? You know what I mean? What if Triple H finally gave us something good and they healed Jay Uso?
I just feel that because how much merchandise he's selling, I don't think it's gonna happen.
So once again, WWE bad storylines never finish up what they're supposed to, unfortunately. What else he said?
Jay can betray Roman and face Roman in match to become tribal chief. I feel like if it happens, a Clash of Italy, I can see Jay betray Roman. The fans are gonna go crazy and go for Jacob. However, I also see it where it's not gonna the trigger won't be pulled, and the Usos finally, and then that whole faction turns on full heel again.
Right.
That's the way I can see it too.
Okay, I can see that too. I mean that's a good point to put. Honestly, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But
One more week.
Up next, we have the Judgment Day. They make their way into the ring to face off Bree and Paige for the tag team titles on the line tonight. All righty, we got a little back and forth. On we go until Liv interferes, pushes Brie Bella, which causes Jessica Carr to send her ass back to the locker room. Back she goes. Raquel hands Roxanne a title during the distraction, which she tries to hit Brie with. She ducks though, goes for a roll up and a quick pin, picks up the win, and they regain their titles. Liv comes back and attacks both women. Ends up being 3-on-2 attack until Lyra and Bailey come out, attack Judgment Day, and even off the numbers. That way, Brie and Paige live to see another day. What do you think of this? Honestly, I don't think much of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's not much. And all they're talking about is
What does it add to the storyline and
Nothing.
all for the tag team
doesn't
titles?
add anything at all.
So my theory is this: Brie and Paige are not going to last long because eventually Nikki Bella is going to be 100%, and I feel like it's coming out soon. I don't think she was going to be away for a long time. And eventually, when Nikki does come back and Brie sees it, they're going to betray Paige and put her out basically for quite a while. But who knows when that's going to be? But this whole tag team scene doesn't make any sense.
Not at all.
Storyline is so
It's
weird.
so stale.
Yeah,
It's stale and weird.
I think it peaked at WrestleMania, and then it just went down the hill since then.
They put the titles on the wrong team. That's what the hell happened.
Well, at this point, when you had a returning page, it did make sense for that night. But I get what you're saying. It made sense for the night, but after the night was over, and the fatigue really set in, we realized, fuck.
I didn't like it, dude. From the moment she came back, I'm like, oh god, she's gonna win. No, I didn't like it. Don't get me wrong. Am I happy the fact that she's back? Yes. I'm not saying the fact I wasn't happy. I just did not see the point to put the titles on them that night.
I agree with you, but when it comes to nostalgia with WWE,
That's what it was.
yeah,
All the
it
hell
was.
it was.
You already knew it was gonna happen. At the same time, if you do bring a returning page that hasn't been with the company for that long,
Years.
and she was getting a lot of buzz, it's hard not to say we got to put the titles on you. But I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. We got another comment.
2. The betrayal can happen after Roman fully trusts the Usos.
Okay,
I can see that happening. And then AJ and Paige versus Bellas for the tag team titles.
AJ and Paige. I don't think AJ.
Mm.
I don't think AJ Lee's returning anytime soon. If not any, she's probably not going to return until the end of the year.
Maybe SummerSlam.
I doubt it. Nah, I honestly
Maybe even Survivor Series.
So look, put it this way: AJ Lee has a lot of stuff going on for herself, and there's stuff in her book and her biography that she wrote about mental stuff and all that. And I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying she goes through a lot of stuff, and I think she just did not want to return fully back to WWE, even for a part-time schedule. I think this was more like a few quick matches, get away for a bit, and then come back again later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be her thing for now on going forward to WWE. So the next time we see AJ Lee back in the ring, my prediction is really the end of the year.
So Survivor Series, War Games, or even
just December. Somewhere in December, man.
Saturday or even Royal Rumble. Fuck.
That's what it could be next year too. I wouldn't expect it back anytime soon.
No.
Even there for a tag team title run. But I mean,
like
hey, you never know.
Down the road, but not anytime soon.
Nah, you never know. But I just don't see it anytime soon. But regardless, we all move on to the next segment, and that at this point is that Seth's then seen what? Excuse me, guys. Seth is seen, and out comes L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Once again, he comes out. He looks at Seth Rollins. And at this point, Seth's kind of bothered because, I mean, who wouldn't it be at this point? The history between these two guys. And he says, you tell me, at this point, he tells him, you don't want to do that because I've been there. You're going to have to go out there, have a match. You're going to get stomped. But at this point, this was LA Knight, by the way, says, the enemy of your enemy is not my friend. I find that admirable that you're going to go out there and, risk it all to take out the vision yourself. I could admire that. But if you're going to need help, you're not going to find it with me. And then he says, yeah. And then he walks away. So basically, he doesn't like Seth still.
Yeah.
I don't blame the guy.
No.
Seth puts this man through a lot of hell. He faked an injury, for God's sakes. Made him look like he potentially had an injury, and then at this point betrays him, his trust.
Yeah.
Attacks LA Knight constantly.
Yeah.
The Vision took out LA Knight several freaking times, But at this point, even then, Seth doesn't have a
friend in the world right now, man.
Yeah, Seth is pretty much
friendless
against the world,
Backs against the wall, everything.
I mean, him himself is the only guy to blame.
Literally.
But
Power killed him.
Honestly, I like the whole LA Knight dynamic tonight. He comes in, he pops in, he does his quick promos. He doesn't really let Seth talk too much.
Or anyone talk too much.
Nah, he gets his stuff in, he walks away like he's angry tonight. He's trying to prove a point. What else do you think about this segment?
I think it did a lot, and if you think about it, there was a little segment tied to it. We'll probably talk about it a little bit. I won't give it away. But that LA Knight, Seth is like, all right, cool. There's still this tension there. There could still be potential for it because they gave some badass matches. But just don't overrun it. Let it simmer. Let one happen, and then you know what? See how the crowd reacts, and then a few months down the road, do another one.
Right.
Don't let too many chefs be in the fucking kitchen for this one.
Exactly.
because this is the perfect time. Because LA Knight is barely coming back. LA Knight's already getting the love that we all expect him to have. Seth is like, I don't know if I have a friend. I don't know if I don't have anybody. I admit I'm against but I'm against these three guys by myself. Maybe he thinks he has maybe the Street Profits, maybe here and there, but in reality, he's like, you know what, dude? Looks in the mirror and says, I'm by myself. And now, aside from these three, and I got this guy. So it's like it keeps adding on to the stress of Seth, which does add more, makes it more interesting.
Yeah. Well, let me at this point. So they'll put it this way. Before I add on more to this, I was gonna actually get into that after the next segment because you kind of forward a little bit to the next segment. But before afterwards, I'll respond to that when we get to that point. So we got next segment. We got what we've been waiting for all night. Obafemi to come out because he's gonna face off in his Obafemi Open Challenge tonight. But before he gets to that point, out comes the Beast, returning back, attacking Obafemi, setting him up. Not one, not two, not three, but four F5s tonight. Looks at Oba, smiles, walks away. Oba looks pissed off because he just realized what just the fuck happened. And just like that, we got Brock Lesnar back tonight, man. What do you think about this?
Dude, that was a surprise to me. I was not expecting that.
I don't think anyone has.
And even Michael Cole said all the rumors, all the speculation, put it to rest. He's not. He's here.
Well, actually, so put it this way. After the segment, because he is retired actually. Yeah. So after the segment be done, we see an angry Adam Pearce backstage with a bunch of guys saying, "Look for him, look for the guy, because I need answers tonight. I put in paperwork for retirement, and he's back already. And look for Heyman, because I want answers." Afterwards, Pearce walks into the room and sees Paul Heyman. And he says, I thought Brock Lesnar was retired. I put paperwork for this guy. Heyman says he is retired. Yes. It. And he says, I have this. And he goes like, what? You're going to serve me some paper? He's like, no. I'm going to give you this. And this is going to be good for your general manager position if you want your part of the main show to look good that night. And he looks at the contract, and it's a contract that has Brock Lesnar's name signed in to have a one-off match against Oba Femi at Clash of Italy. And at that point, he tells Pearce, all you have to do is have Oba Femi sign on, and you'll have a fantastic main event that night. And just like that, Brock Lesnar is reinserted into WWE TV for what it looks like to be one night only, though. So, see, here's the thing. Heyman did say he's retired.
Yeah.
Heyman does have a contract, though, because Brock wants to have a one-off match against Oba at Clash of Italy. Now, that's going to be something interesting, because now, what is the point of this, though? What is the point of Brock returning to get revenge on Oba at Clash of Italy? Does that mean Brock is going over? Which, does anybody want to see? No. Do you want to see that? I don't want to see that.
I want to see a good match. That's what I was expecting, a good match. I was expecting at least a decent 5-6 minute match. Not a burial of Brock Lesnar. But I was expecting about a 5-6 minute match.
But when have you seen a Brock Lesnar match that lasted more than 10 minutes?
I'm not saying 10 minutes. I'm just saying 5 or 6. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is honestly 5 or 6 minutes. I'm not saying 10 minutes, 12 or anything.
So what are you talking about? WrestleMania?
WrestleMania, but I'm talking also just have them go at it and give us the match we were expecting.
In 5 minutes.
Exactly. I mean,
I don't think you could get much match, bro, in a 5-minute match. You have to have these men prolong it to 10 to 15 minutes matches, where I can see Oba doing, but I find it hard to believe Brock. I mean, I guess if Brock's fully invested, we have seen Brock fully invested against
Goldberg, Cody.
I wouldn't say Goldberg. I would say Cody, but I would say AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, John Cena. But at that point, it's only a few guys. So if he's fully invested, yes, I could see a longer match. But if we don't get that longer match,
This is for nothing.
I don't even. I'm not excited for this.
I'm not excited for it.
So because like at this point, it could be the whole John Cena effect where he comes in F5 zones 5 times, pins him, goes home, and he's retired again.
Gives him how many suplexes that night? 14, 16, 21, something like that?
I don't know. So I don't know. I'm not excited because this doesn't make any sense. And at this point, if Oba does win, it still didn't make sense. Why would he retired that night? Gave us a perfect storybook ending.
Yeah.
Just to come back and basically be pissed off about something he seemed like he was already okay with during the end of the night.
Yeah.
And not only that, but if he's unretired, then why did Heyman said he is retired? You know, there's a lot of questions here still that are left to be answered. I guess we're just gonna have to wait till next week to see if we'll even get answers, because I highly doubt Brock is gonna show up, but we'll have Oba have a segment about him somehow, some way, and try to get answers from Heyman.
Paul Heyman will talk. We do have a comment, and then the Beast returns and F5s 4 times, and then backstage is Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi.
Yeah, so honestly, that's official for Clash of Italy. Look, if you're excited for that, that's cool, man. I just don't understand it. I'm trying to make sense of it. Was it an exciting segment tonight to see Brock Lesnar back? Yes, I agree 100%. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. So I was actually going to talk about this shit tonight, where last week we had no challengers for the Oba Femi Open Challenge. And I thought about this today, you know, when I had some free extra time, and I thought to myself, well, eventually, being the beast that Oba Femi is, and the fact that he at the time retired Brock Lesnar, they probably at this point they didn't even realize, but they crashed themselves into a wall where there's nobody going to be there to challenge Oba Femi or give him a real fight at this point. There's not going to be no competitors out there for quite a while until he faces a Roman Reigns, a Cody Rhodes, or someone of that caliber. CM Punk, but he really has to be in the title scene.
Yeah.
Because at this point, he's a megastar. So if he kept going on 2 weeks, just like this, squashing people, look, it's fun, but eventually the fans are going to go die off eventually. Look, you had a couple of streaks back in the day. You had Goldberg's streak, which was fun, but it was a different time frame. Asuka had a streak, but she was a great wrestler.
Fantastic, phenomenal, honestly, one of a kind.
Oba Femi's a great wrestler. I think Oba Femi's a great talent, but in this day of age of smart marks, I feel like this was going to hit a wall until tonight when Brock came back, added a little bit more spice into this whole Oba Femi situation right now. So in a way, WWE did save themselves, because I feel like they realized they don't have enough guys out there to give Oba Femi a real challenge.
Yeah, I mean, he did destroy the Viking Raiders by himself.
Yeah, and at this point, the only guy I could see returning that could be somewhat on Brock's level would have been a Braun Strowman.
But he's not coming back.
No. And you know, there's rumors that Big Bill, aka some of you guys may know him as Big Cass, returning, or not returning, sorry, being a free agent, which could leave a possibility for him to return to WWE, have a feud with Oba, but at the end of the day, Oba goes over him. That's it. You know, on to the next feud. There's just so many guys that this guy's going to run through until he really needs to start losing. Not all matches, but some matches. It's kind of a thing that WWE didn't really realize, you know, what to do afterwards.
They haven't.
No, but it's going to be crazy to see. I'm not going to lie. I am excited to see this and how they go about the match, but I'm also scared.
Yeah.
I'm also scared that Brock's going to get a win.
That's what I'm afraid of right there. That Brock gets a W.
And it's possibility. Anything with Brock Lesnar, it's always a possibility.
Heck, none of us had Oba winning at WrestleMania. We both had Lesnar winning.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Wait, did I pick Lesnar?
I thought we both picked Lesnar.
No, I picked Oba because I remember I did say I feel like Brock's gonna win, but I'm gonna have to go with Oba because he has to win. Like it wasn't a necessarily like, you know, he has to win. I remember I was even in Vegas and they interviewed me and I said, Oba has to win or we riot. It was someone else's show. Yeah, because I mean, in the end of the day, it was best for business. It really was. But overall, that's Obafemi. You know, that is the whole Brock Lesnar thing, and we'll see how it goes next week. We'll see. Street Profits are interview, and they're talking about how they're going to capture the title off the division, and they're ready for this. They're not new to this.
Come on, hold us.
Yep, they said they're on their way to get those tag team titles because the Street Profits are up and they want all the smoke, and that's until Montez Ford gets mad at Dawkins for not being focused. He says, and then he looks at Dawkins and says, "You know what? Don't expect me to get involved." And at that point, Dawkins walks into Seth Rollins' area and tells him, "Look, man, I can't guarantee Ford. Look, man, I know shit happened last week, but I guess you're trying to have our back. But, just know that I'll be there for you tonight." And, Seth's like, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. But right now, really, I got to just focus on my match tonight right now.
Yep.
That is up next. And that on comes Seth Rollins into the ring because tonight he's going to face off Austin Theory
The
one-on-one.
toughest member of the division.
Yeah, pretty much. With that, Zach Uso's show says,
they want the smoke, they get the smoke. And because they're going to knock the smoke out of the division.
Yep. Well, that didn't happen tonight, but eventually it will. Yeah.
Eventually.
Or maybe they won't. Who knows? Oh. Yeah, that's something theory that we have to eventually get out there, and then they trade stomps. Yeah, they will eventually trade stomps. So at this point, look, man, this whole match was pretty good.
It was entertaining.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad.
Like I said, it was entertaining.
So at this point, we have Seth exchange blows with Theory, back and forth action tonight, but eventually we had Logan Paul who has to make his interference, try to take out Seth Rollins a couple of times, but to no prevail. Theory at this point also did work on Seth Rollins' ankle, did play a factor, which was smart, but eventually, Rollins got the upper hand. So what set up the match was when Logan tries to hand Theory the brass knuckles. Rollins gets it, but the ref sees, takes it away from him. And then at this point, when he takes it away, Seth says, screw it. He attacks Logan instead, punches him out. And at that point, he sends Theory off with the pedigree, wins the match, celebrates for a bit until Logan Paul starts beating him down. That's until Angelo Dawkins comes out, goes after Theory, attacks him, but instead, he gets attacked by Logan Paul. It's a 2-on-1 until Ford comes out to help his partner out, takes out the Vision. But when it's all said and done, he gets mad at Dawkins and tells him, I told you nothing good is going to come out of this set thing. And then at that point, you see Braun in the background running. And that is when he was going to set up the spear on Dawkins. Yep. But instead, Ford, being his partner, pushes him out. He gets speared. And then at that point, Dawkins gets attacked anyways, gets speared. That's until Seth attacks Braun Breaker, almost curb stomps him until Logan Paul grabs his legs, distracts him, and that's where obviously Braun comes in, spears Seth Rollins, and then attacks him from the outside. They tried to set up a spot where it looked like Braun was going to hit him with the steel steps on the steel stairs while they were holding him down until Adam Pearce comes out, breaks it up. Braun gets one more offense in where he takes down Seth Rollins, walks away, and just when the angry Pearce is arguing with the Vision, and this is how we close off Monday Night Raw. Overall, tonight's show was okay.
It was decent.
I'm not gonna tell you it was the greatest, the worst. It was all right for what it was.
Decent.
I don't know, man. It just seems kind of copy and paste every week.
Literally.
So, what are your thoughts overall?
It was copy and paste. Honestly, I feel like it was one of those situations where it's like you could have done a little bit, you could have done a little more. Right, there could have been a little bit more coming up. You probably could have talked about EO getting married. Congratulations, by the way, to EO Sky. We haven't said it, but congratulations to EO and Evil. Congratulations on your marriage. Wish you guys many, many, many years of happiness, love, and affection, and joy. Keep going, keep doing what you guys go forward. They could have done a lot, but I feel like they're trying not to fumble, but at the same time they're fumbling what they're not trying to fumble. If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
I don't. I'm lost.
So
there.
basically, what I'm saying is like they're trying to make sure the fact that Raw is a flagship show. They're trying to still bring the butts to the seats, get eyes on the product. However, I feel that them constantly trying to like stretch out so many storylines is causing fans to just not get invested because it's the same thing week after week after week.
What?
So, and we talked about this in the beginning. What's going to happen after Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns? What's going to happen after the Seth and the Street Profits versus the Vision? Then what? So that's where I'm coming from with that.
Well, that's also not also that, and then it's also the fact that we have so many pay-per-views back to back, and everything's just getting squished into everything. And it's not that they're stretching it; it just seems everything's rushed. And not only that, but they also seem like they're running out of ideas where it's just the same old shit.
Yeah.
It's like basically the ending of Raw last week started off to be the opener of Raw this week.
Yeah.
With the slight difference. I don't know, man. It's not as great as it could have been tonight. It could have been a lot better. It just seems like what it was last week in the end.
I feel like eventually that we're gonna have PLE fatigue. And I mean, we're starting to have it, and people are going to just be like, I don't want to because you guys don't have a set storyline. And that's what even Vincent himself did eventually, because I remember it was PLE after PLE after PLE. And I'm not talking about it was the brand split. I'm talking about it was here constantly. You had 3 or 4 of them back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, it's like we're going to get the PLE fatigue. And it's like, you know what, man, we'll make Saturday night's main event once a quarter.
Right.
Well, you could do that. That'd be fine.
Okay.
You could do PLEs once a month.
Agreed.
And your filler in between, let's put it, you have one in June, right? For what it's Evolution. Your next one will be July. Your PLE, quote unquote, will be Saturday night main event. And then you jump into SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. And if you don't want to consider any more PLE, that's fine. Because you can still jump from whatever is coming up in June to the next thing, which is SummerSlam. That gives you so much time to build proper storylines and proper feuds.
What is in July, by the way? I don't think it's Women's Evolution.
That's what I said. No, July so far. July 18th, they're talking already about Saturday Night Main Event.
But that's not really a PLE. That's more. I know. It's like between a PLE. It's not really the PLE for a month. It's always the.
That's what I said.
The filler fucking month show in a way.
But that's what I'm trying to say though. Right now, you don't need it after WrestleMania. You need it between your Backlash and your SummerSlam.
So, but that's what I'm saying. What is in July though?
That's gonna be your. Fuck.
That's what I'm saying. We're missing a.
Oh, we're missing 2. Because what the hell is June?
June, I think somehow June's gonna fall into Clash of Italy because it's so late in May that they're going to try to count it into June, which doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. There's this whole pushing these PLEs out early, and now onto the summer, we're going to have a long stretch until they figure out to add a pay-per-view, which I feel they're going to add a WrestlePalooza type of pay-per-view somewhere between there.
Number 5.
Well, I'm not going to call it WrestlePalooza, just going to call it like some random dumb shit.
Great Balls of Fire.
Nah, I doubt it. That was a dumb shit back then. And then that's from your boy, your favorite.
From Vince?
Yeah, all you guys, bring back
Fastlane too, man. Don't forget Fastlane.
Yeah, Fastlane was just dumb too. I'm glad that they brought out what's it called, Limited Chamber into that filler during that time, because Fastlane was a filler between Rumble and WrestleMania. Thank God they got rid of these shows, honestly. What was the other one?
Great Balls of Fire, Fastlane.
You love that paper. You always mention Great Balls of Fire.
It's the funniest thing of all time.
I don't think it's that funny. I think it was dumb.
The funniest thing of all time.
I thought it was just dumb back then.
It's for me. It was also the graphic that they used.
I don't think it was funny. I'm sorry. I'm the minority here because honestly, I thought it was stupid then.
It is stupid. I'm not sitting here saying
I'm stupid mad. You're stupid funny, I guess.
Yeah.
Not like in that way, but I'm saying,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, stupid mad, stupid funny for that PLE. There was another PLE that I also wasn't a fan of. Oh, One Night Stand. So it wasn't.
Oh, dude.
No, sorry, my bad. It became One Night Stand to the Extreme Rules. I'm not a fan of Extreme Rules. just because of the replacement at that point.
Well, especially when you took away the core of what it was, which was ECW.
It wasn't ECW though.
I'm saying it was where it came from.
Well, it wasn't ECW regardless. This was always WWE.
Yeah.
The core thing was hardcore matches, every single stipulation.
Yeah.
Now we don't get that in Extreme Rules. We don't even get the Extreme Rules anymore. We get like one or two Extreme Rules match, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know? It's like Hell in a Cell. You call it a Hell in a Cell PLE, but you're only getting one or two Hell in a Cell PLEs. So what's the point of it, you know?
Oh, they got rid of the PLE now. It's just whenever the match is there.
Yeah, so I don't know. Regardless, so we're going off track. Or what else?
I think why the PLE is coming so quick is because 2026 years fast. No, I'm sorry to tell you this, Zach. No, because this before. I can't remember the year, but there was like a year where it was just constantly back to back to back to back. There was one year where I remember they had at least 4 PLEs within, and it was with the WWE Network.
You're thinking about back in 2016, but that was a long time ago, though.
But they're running back the same formula.
Yeah, but that was 10 years ago, bro. You can't. That's like me going back to the Attitude Era. It's too long ago.
No. So what I'm saying though is PLE fatigue. That's what I'm talking about. When we had it back in 2016, we were like, dude, it's just so many. It's just I get they're trying to promote the network.
But what does that got to do with 2026 moving fast, though?
No, he says PLE's coming so quick. Like, why are there so many back to back to back to back? That's what he's coming from.
I don't know. I'll ask them to more elaborate because, okay, what's the point you're trying to make with the network then?
No. What I'm saying is that we're getting PLE fatigue. We're starting to get PLE fatigue because it's so many just back to back to back. And there is no proper storyline build. There is nothing in between that's actually making you excited for the next event. Because it goes from lackluster to lackluster to lackluster.
Yeah. Well,
then what's next?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a good thing. So regardless, yeah. So look, on to the next segment. We're gonna go into Saturday night's main event predictions part. So at this point, man, we got a couple of matches. And we're gonna look into it. Okay. So far. Oh yeah, give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. So let's go into one of the matches, and that would be Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca. Who do you have, SG3?
I low-key want to say Sol, but at the same time, I know it's going to be Becky. So I'm going to go Becky.
All righty. I'm going to go with Sol Ruca.
Okay.
Why not? I'm just going to go for fun. I think Sol should win. If not, Sol's going to be 0-3. It doesn't make any sense as their main roster debut comes about. Why not just push it, man? Honestly, go for it. Have Sol as the IC title. Something different.
Either it's a bad thing. It's just a bad match. It's a bad match. It's a bad result.
What do you mean bad match, bad result?
Though? So it's a good match. Sorry. Bad match booked, bad result regardless. Becky wins, Sol's 0-3. Sol wins, what's next?
You mean bad situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
To lose.
Because I don't think it's going to be a bad match. A bad situation, I do
That's what
see.
I said, bad booking match.
You said bad match.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry, I meant bad booking.
Yeah, bad overall, but I get what you're saying. Bad match, I don't think so. I think the only thing could start it from being a bad match, it would be Sol Ruca vouching the ending, which I don't think she will this time. I think she's going to be fine. But like I said, she should win the IC title. I would like to see it. But as we're looking into it, it doesn't seem like they put it up yet. So maybe this is for a contenders match. So if it is for a number one contenders match, I see Sol
Ruca.
Yeah, and then at that point, it could lead her winning the title down the line, which would make a lot more sense. All right, and this is going to be one of my favorites coming in: Penta versus Ethan Page singles match for the WWE IC Championship. Who do you have and why?
Only because it's the right time, and I'm a Penta guy. Honestly, I love Penta. I love what he does, but I'm actually gonna go with Ethan Page. It's the right time for him to just get the rocket strapped on him and just fly to the fucking moon.
I think Ethan Page wins it. He's really talented. He's great on the mic, and I think he makes for really good TV week by week, especially as a really good heel. And it's what they need right now in the mid-card scene. Go with Ethan Page, and if they don't have a title put on them that night, I don't know what they're going to do with them. It's going to be another vouch for another push to the main event roster. On comes to the next, and that would be Division that has Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus the Street Profits, Dawkins and Ford. Do you think tonight would be the night that Division take out the Street Profits, or do the Street Profits win the tag team championship?
Vision wins. So
Yep.
it's just too soon to put it on the Profits. Because then you're going to go back and forth and back and forth. No, I think it's Profits are going to win it. Yes, they will. I can see that happening.
How would they win, though? Like, what would you think?
When would they win?
No, how? How?
The Vision or the...
No, the Division. Like you said, the Vision.
Okay, so if I was to go Vision wins, I feel that somewhere, some shape, somehow, Braun Breaker's going to come out because the Street Profits have been getting involved with a lot of his stuff. Seth's gonna come out to like, hey guys, you've helped me, I'm gonna help you, back and forth, because it's gonna build up to something. I don't know what's gonna build up, but it's gonna build up to something.
Then you think eventually Seth's gonna screw out the Street Profits by accident once again?
Yeah.
Which would cause Montez Ford to get angry at Seth Rollins, and then it has to be Angelo Dawkins to be the middle guy, the guy who tries to calm down the situation,
to bring the peace.
But I think that this might actually be maybe the start of a split of Montez Ford, because he's going to be angry at Dawkins to say, why do you keep defending this guy? Where I can see eventually maybe they split off, because there's been talk about splitting off the two guys. And honestly, Montez Ford, it's a more talented guy.
Yeah.
And I think really he should have a good singles run. I would like to see the Street Profits split up. Personally, in my opinion, Montez Ford should have a good singles run, because you do see the tension tonight. Montez Ford took a spear for Dawkins.
Yeah.
For God's sakes. And he did warn Dawkins to stay away from this whole shit. Now, Montez Ford, being the good friend that he is, cannot see Dawkins out there getting beat up.
Yeah.
When afterwards, because of Dawkins putting his nose where it doesn't belong, causes Montez Ford to get speared the hell out of.
Yeah.
Which, in the end, if this goes over to Saturday night's main event and Seth screws him out once again, I can see Montez Ford snapping at all of them. Not in a bad way where he attacks them, but he walks away from all of it, which could set up bad tensions between all three of them at this point. So it's going to be an interesting...
It's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, interesting match for what could potentially lead afterwards. I'm excited to see. Alrighty, next match. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill, Mission, and B-Fab. 6-women tag team match. Honestly, man, this is just a filler match, unfortunately. And it sucks because you have really big names here.
You do.
A couple of years ago, all these ladies should have been main eventing this type of card right now.
Or even WrestleMania.
Yeah, but regardless, it should be main eventing these type of cards. But now they're all just stuck together for storyline sakes to be a filler match. Because it seems like we keep running them back with Jade Cargill and her baddies, basically.
And Rhea Ripley and whatever Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are calling themselves nowadays.
Regardless, though, I'm going to have to go with Rhea, Charlotte, and Alexa just because I feel like this is an OP tag team. Unless somehow Jade gets another member added to her baddies group, which I don't know who could that be. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Rhea, Charlotte, and Alexa. Just like I said,
see it, yeah.
It's an OP tag team. It makes sense for them to win. So I'm just going to go with that. And like I said, guys, this is not in order. This is just how I read the whole thing. We got the last match of the night, and that would be Brie Bella and Paige versus the Irresistibles Forces, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax. And this is going to be for the tag team titles. Who do you have as G3 and why?
Only because of personal reasons. Lash Legend and Nia Jax are going to win. I don't like Brie Bella and Paige as champion. I still can't get behind it.
Well, look, man, I'm going to go with Brie and Paige. Like,
they're going to win regardless, but I'm still not going to choose them.
Well, regardless, I'm going to pick them just because, once again, for me, business-wise, right now, it makes sense until they find the right tag team to take it off, because I really don't want to see another title reign of the Irresistible Forces. I feel like they ran their course, and I think it's time to give it to the next tag team. You know what's a tag team that I would like to see capture the titles? Lyra and Bailey.
That's what I was going to say. Lyra and Bailey, who should have won it at WrestleMania.
Well, look, like I said, man, business sense for Paige to make her comeback that night. It had to be done. I get it though. But regardless, I don't pick them. I don't pick the Irresistible Force getting another title run. I don't. It doesn't make any sense. But at this point, this is going to lead up afterwards. Bailey and Lyra, hopefully, because it looks like they're getting to that point.
They're about to get the push.
Yeah, we're finally going to get the push.
Bailey,
and they should.
Bailey deserves this. After everything she's been going through, Bailey deserves this kind of moment.
Yep. All righty, guys. And that is your Saturday night's main event. I might be live streaming it that night. I'll let you guys know if so. But regardless, it should be a good show.
Okay. Got a lot of comments. Zach says 2K stream later. Well, we already talked about that.
Might be later, might not. If not, for sure tomorrow.
Jamon John 2516. Hey, welcome to the show. I think first time commenter. We appreciate the comment. Thank you for the feedback. Brock might get his win back.
So, see, here's the thing. If you think he is going to get a win back, do you agree with that? I personally, I'm scared. I think he is going to get his win back. Doesn't make sense, though. It doesn't make sense storyline. Why go through that retirement angle? It was picture perfect for him to just walk out in the sunset. And what is the storyline with this now? He's bitter. He's angry. He gets his win back. He squashes Oba. He rides back out to the sunset.
And then we don't have a match at SummerSlam.
And then we have a dumbass match of a rematch in SummerSlam. What does this all make sense for, though? Yeah. Like, what's the point? I was excited to see Brock back. I was. But then reality set in after the whole FOMO crashed down, and then I realized, shit, he might get his fucking win back here. And that's when I realized, fuck, I'm pissed off now. It just looks like it.
Yeah.
And you know, with common sense in wrestling, you would say no. But then somehow WWE says, well, they say no, we'll say yes. And we'll give them the win back and piss off all the fans because that's what we like to do.
Yeah.
And then it just makes Oba look weak. And what is he going to go through this open challenge trying to regain his wins back to beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But then if Oba wins, then what happens to Brock? He was just bitter. He came back. He's going to put his shoes back in the ring, or he's just going to walk away and cry about it again.
Whatever.
But also, guys, doesn't this kind of makes you think? Let's just say Oba beats Brock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, if he came back for this, doesn't that make you think that Gunther and Brock is not out of the possibilities for SummerSlam now that he made this return? I'm not saying he's unretired, but it kind of makes you think because, again, Gunther is owed a favor by Paul Heyman. So you got to think about this, man. Reports was that Gunther was going to retire Brock Lesnar, but it didn't look like that. But now that he came back from his retirement, even though he's still retired, which doesn't make any sense, you know, there's still questions out there. What else we got?
Zach says Brock POV. You know what I need? My win back. Couple hours later, returns and F5's Obafemi.
That's a pretty good POV of Brock Lesnar the way he thinks. So, I don't know. Are you okay? So out there in the chat, who do you guys have winning? If you guys got to make a quick prediction for Clash of Italy, coming up soon between Brock and Oba. Do you guys think Brock's gonna win? You guys think Oba's gonna win?
I can see Brock winning, dude.
So everybody here is gonna pick Brock Lesnar because I'm gonna have to just say Oba because, like, again, it's best for business. And no matter what, I'm always gonna go best for business in the wrestling world sense, meaning as a fan. Any other thoughts on that?
It's best for business for the fans, yes, because it solidifies Oba to be the monster that he is. But it's WWE, and it's always a coin flip, and we don't know what's going to happen for this one. And again, I do see Brock winning, and all of a sudden, you know what, man? Let's run it back one more time at SummerSlam. You versus me. All marbles on the table, blah, blah, blah. I won't call myself the ruler. If you lose, you're done forever. I can see that happening. Zach says Brock gonna win from help of Paul Heyman. Ooh.
What is Paul Heyman gonna do though? He doesn't like getting physical. That's the thing. Paul did admit that he doesn't want to get physical in the ring after the 2003 stunt with Brock Lesnar, where he did get hurt a couple of times. He even got F5 from Brock Lesnar at some point. He says, I don't want to get into the ring. I don't want to get hurt. So the only distractions I could see is him distracting the ref, which would cause Oba to get near him. And that's when Brock sets an F5. But I don't know if there's much that Paul Heyman could really do for him in the ring. So it'll be interesting. It will be. But regardless, guys, we'll get into some news. Alrighty, so there is some reports out there that the reason that we haven't seen Randy Orton in the ring for quite a while is that he's healing up from some back injuries still. Yeah. So, it's sad to say, but a lot of reports is that he was supposed to win the title at WrestleMania, but due to his nagging back injury, he's been written off of TV, and he also was last minute change where Cody the championship. Retained the championship that night instead. That being said, Randy Orton is going to set to return pretty soon by the end of the month, which would make sense because eventually Clash of Italy, he might appear during that PLE. With that being said, do you think he'll be inserted back into the storyline with Cody Rhodes, or you think he's going to find a new potential feud with someone else?
I can see Cody one more time down the road. I can see him right away.
And then at this point, what is Cody going to do, man? There's only so much that guy could do in
honestly
quite a while. I don't know. It's just interesting to see if Orton, when the Orton does come back, what he's going to be set at this point. Or maybe they're just going to forget the whole heel run and just go face again.
I can see that happening. Zach says Baron Corbin. And then Zach says again, no, Wendy, it's not back issues.
So what is it? If it's not back issues... Well, what is it at this point? I don't know. That's what the report said. If you guys know, just let me know, man. So let's talk about Baron Corbin. There's a lot of talks out there that Baron Corbin is getting potentially a return to WWE. With that being said, it's more WWE pursuing Baron Corbin. We already know a year ago back, he got released. And when he got released, it was not really in good terms. It wasn't a Triple H thing, he says. It was someone else that he doesn't want to mention. Someone else that, he was supposedly cool with, but I guess he wasn't in the end of the day that wanted him out. And with that, he got released, which I honestly at the time did not agree with, because I think Baron Corbin was doing some great work.
Yeah.
Whether he was on the main roster or back on NXT. And when he was on NXT, even though that looked like he got depromoted, he actually strived that way.
Yeah.
And we got one of the best tag teams with Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin for quite a while. With that being said, there are reports, and I'm not excited for this one. I honestly, no matter how much I like this wrestler, I think it's stupid. At this point, I think, okay, so put it this way. There's reports that Danhausen was talking about he has a big surprise that's coming up soon. And we already know that, the whole, what's it called? The
mini houses?
The crate,
the
cloning crate that eventually has to do with that, where he's going to insert one of those mini guys. And out comes out of nowhere is Baron Corbin out of that crate, supposedly. Going to tag team with the what's his name, Danhausen, to face off, Kit Wilson and The Miz once again, in some sort of segment this way. That being said, it seems like a one-off. It seems like they really just want Baron Corbin as a one-off, because it doesn't seem like after this, what else potential feud do they have him with?
That's true.
If they're just going to team him up with Danhausen for a couple more months, just be a comedy gimmick once again,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not excited for that.
Zach says Randy posted about that back issue post saying he on summer vacation.
I think that was him being sarcastic in a way. I know what you're saying. I posted that on the short that I had. I feel like he was sarcastic, but in a way, that was a lot of the reports for a while. Who knows? We're probably gonna get the truth eventually. So yeah, you might be right. Who knows? What do you think, SG3? Are you excited for Baron Corbin to come back? And if so, Are you excited for him to be partner up with Danhausen?
It'll be funny for a little bit, but then it's like I want Baron Corbin to go back to being the wolf he was. Um, where in 2018 he came in and he was actually kicking a lot of ass, dude.
You know, when he does comedy spots, it's not bad.
No,
Because remember, broke Baron Corbin?
that was funny.
That was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, that was hilarious. But at the same time, it's like you got released from WWE when you were, to me, when he was doing great work.
He really was.
I
Next season
don't-
was.
Yeah, I don't understand why they released him in the first place. For them to contact you and put you into another comedy spot where you have potential to get released in about another year,
Less than a year.
why would you want to go back?
I don't know.
The guy is talented. The guy, so after he got released, he went into some like Miss Martial Art event and he won, I think. I think he won. He got first place. This is how talented this guy is. He has a lot of potential to do something great. He had an AEW dark match, which led to nothing. At the time we saw it, we thought maybe he'll sign with AEW. Never did.
Yep.
He has really not done much work in the indie scenes. That being said, if he wants another itch in wrestling, I think he just goes to AEW. Perfect spot for him to do whatever the hell he wants there because I feel like they'll treat him with a little bit more respect. If he goes back to WWE, I don't understand why he would do that just to be a part of a comedy act just to get released a year later once they realize they have nothing for him.
Even 3 months later, 6 months later.
Whenever they run their course with Danhausen and him, he'll get released.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point, they're going to see he won't sell merchandise as they want him to do. But if he does come back, I will still enjoy it because the reason why, like I said, Baron Corbin does these comedy acts very well.
He does.
And honestly, they're hilarious. And I think if he was teamed up with Danhausen, it'll be some great work.
It would be.
Yeah. And we already know Danhausen kills anything he has. So he's a great comedy act, man. Honestly, he really is. Great wrestler, too. So I'm excited for that if he did return. But honestly, overall, I don't think he should. I think he should just stay doing what he was doing because they treat him with no respect at that point. So why would he come back? You know?
Maybe it's a whole dream thing. He wanted to be in WWE and he's now living his dream.
I mean, I don't know. With that interview with Chris Van, it just didn't seem like he was too happy during the end, though. So, yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts on this?
Honestly, dude, I think at this point, I agree with you. Why come back? I want to see him as a lone wolf. I think he called himself at first. But that year, 2018, it really did set Baron Corbin apart. And I honestly thought this guy's the limit for this kid. And unfortunately, don't know what happened. Don't know what feathers he ruffled. But I think at this point, if you're going to bring him back, eventually, if you're going to keep him longer than the year, and I hope you do, take him out of Danhausen's shadow and then skyrocket him to the moon. Even if you send him back to NXT, at least it's something where he continues to grow.
Yep, I agree with you, man. Alrighty, and we're gonna get some talk that Tony Khan says. So Tony Khan responds to Dave Meltzer reports about WWE higher ups stating that AEW next TV deal will be a failure. Think about that one. I talked about this on Friday, so let's go into deep what he said about this whole situation. He says, I saw a report today that somebody in WWE is telling people within WWE talking about AEW next TV deal and talking about what we're doing. And I was surprised by that. And all I'll say is what they said could not be further from the truth. They're entitled to their opinions. I've been trying to be respectful to them, which honestly I think he has.
Really has.
And tried to conduct myself as a gentleman. And then from them to go on background and spread these things, I'll just turn the other cheek. And maybe a couple of years ago, I would have done it like that. So I feel like he's trying to say basically like back then he would have probably responded.
Yeah.
But now he's like, fuck it. It's just words, you know, which is kind of odd coming to Tony Khan because a couple of years ago back, he would respond in a cringe way.
Super cringe.
And make him not look like more of a boss, make him look like more of a mark. But now he's more like, let them say what they're going to say. I don't really care anymore. Which is probably the bigger approach, the better approach to everything. And honestly, it's not a bad way to respond to this. What do you think?
I agree with it 100%. I'm proud of Tony Khan for what he did. It shows his growth, his maturity. It shows the fact that like he's being the bigger person, even though technically he's considered the B company. It shows like, hey, you were not gonna do what you did before, which was do some stupid, cringy stuff. And now it's like, you know what? I can get behind this. And I feel like a lot more people are gonna get. And if WWE continues to be stupid with this, they can actually shoot themselves in the foot and turn a lot of eyes to AEW.
Yeah, that, and I feel like when CM Punk came at him during All In, you know, that whole fear
Yeah.
for his life thing really kicked in, man.
Yeah.
Gave him a prosperity of his life after
And
that.
just so he had an epiphany. He was like, you know
Yeah.
what? I think I should change the way I am.
Yeah, you know what, man? That Punk got something, you know, he got something through me that night.
Yep.
I fear for my life.
And he definitely did.
I honestly though, I feel like they did. Someone did show him like a compilation of the shit he did, and he's probably like, "Fuck, I'm embarrassed." Like, because he changed a lot since then.
It really has. I mean,
Yeah.
remember when he did the Punk thing later on after he came on WWE?
Mhm.
It's like, I'm gonna show you guys what really happened. It's like, dude, it didn't help you at all.
Yeah, and all the cringe interviews that he did right afterwards, post interviews, stuff just randomly. I don't know, man. He just handles a lot of things a lot better. He went through some PR stunts. You could just tell.
Really did.
Okay, as well as this, guys, Paul White, aka the Big Show, has officially re-signed with AEW. And so if you guys thought he was going to return to WWE anytime soon, he shut it down. He says, I plan on retiring with AEW. And for him to return into the ring is not going to happen because he said he's beat up, really beat up, especially with his legs. He doesn't plan on making any return in the ring at all into his career. Instead, he wants to be an on-screen character or have a backstage role in AEW. So that being said, Big Show is not coming back to WWE. And the reason why, if you guys don't remember, I think it was right after WrestleMania where he came back for a segment and Randy Orton said some things to him on TV, which wasn't in the script. And I think it was a Vince idea at the time, which really poked fun at the Big Show. And at that point, Big Show was really mad about that and took that offensively. So instead, he decided to join the competition. And ever since then, he's still been there for quite a while.
He's been there since 2020, 2021.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And he's still there. And now he's planning to retire in AEW. Which, look, man, congrats to him, man. Big Show's been all around, you know, every promotion.
A legend
in himself, man. I mean, I feel like the guy doesn't get much props now just because he's older and he looks, you know, he looks beat up, man, unfortunately. I hope he never goes in the ring ever again. No. He doesn't need a retirement match, man. Some guys just could call it quits and that's it, you know?
He had a great career. He was a Grand Slam champion, everything.
Honestly, man, I still think Big Show's underrated. Yeah. I think Big Show does not get enough credit. Like, you know, like, because he's always was compared back then to Andre the Giant.
Always was.
You know, this kayfabe, he was his son in WCW, and he always was compared to him. But in a special way, I feel like Big Show was his own legend, as big as Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
But people don't see it because at the time, we had guys like Austin, The Rock, Brock Lesnar later on, John Cena. Think about the stretch of time he was in WWE, where how many talents he worked with. Rollins, The Shield, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, like
John Cena.
He just went on to face so many guys. He went from Hogan down to the next generation. The
way he came into WWE.
Yeah.
He came in before the WCW was bought. He came in and the Vince versus Austin match underneath the ring, which was like, you know what? They just had to make a big splash. I did.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it worked perfect for him.
Yeah. Like, honestly, the Big Show's career is really underrated to me. I feel like he's not talked to as like one of the top guys in our industry, you know?
Honestly. Now, when I say, I'm not sitting here saying the fact that he should be on Mount Rushmore. Maybe Mount Rushmore big guys, because you don't have a lot of big guys who had a longevity and had a career like him.
I think if it was for big guys, really super heavyweights, I think he's up there. I think he's probably like top 2 for sure. For me, because it'll be Andre, then him. And then you could add whoever you want after that.
Yeah.
But yeah. In a way, it's just crazy that he lasted this long in AEW, and I'm glad he has a job there. I think at one point when he finally calls it a career, I feel like they should have a celebration. No match,
No.
obviously. Just have a little celebration. Bring out all his friends. Bring out all the guys out there. From his WCW days all the way out to ex WWE stars now. Have a great career send off, and I'm glad this guy found
Nice little bit
a
of
role.
package. Honestly, nice
Yeah.
little bit of package. He deserves it.
Yeah. Honestly, though, it's great to hear. All right. I don't want to go into mixed martial arts, sports, UFC stuff, but let's because the reason why I'm gonna go into this is because it's Ronda Rousey. We already know Saturday night she faced off Gina Carano. She got her win, she got her W, she got paid $2.2 million in 17 seconds, which is just crazy.
Actually.
But she had a lot of controversy towards it, and that's what we're gonna talk about. Like I said, this is not a UFC page, but since it is Ronda Rousey and she was in WWE
and
for a
made a
brief period, she was in AEW. Let's talk about the fact there's a lot of controversy between this match. Alrighty, and I know what's his name. I just had it in my head right now. Jim Cornette did speak about this and did say, was this fight a work? And he also explained how, his thoughts on it later on. So let's just talk about this regardless. Guys out there, whoever watched Ronda versus Gina Carano, do you guys think it was a work and why? Alrighty. SG3, you want to start this off or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Alrighty. So my personal opinion is this. No way in hell. I'm sorry, guys. It wasn't a work. It was literally a fight. This is literally Ronda Rousey's style, how she always fights. She always tries to go right away for a takedown. She always trying to go for the arm drag. Her matches were always short. In her, in her fights that she did win, she tried to keep it short and sweet. All right, so if you thought it was a work, most of the reasons out there is why is because of the whole Gina Carano letting go of the, what do you call it?
The clinch headlock.
The clinch headlock. See, here's the thing. She didn't let it go. She just had no grip or strength to really continue on. All right. Think about this. Gina Carano came in 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
She was drained. She had no strength.
Nope.
No. She hasn't fought in mixed martial arts for 17 fucking years.
Damn, I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, it was. She's 44 years old.
Holy shit.
Ronda Rousey's 39. And yes, it might not look a big difference, but when it comes to sports, that's a hell of a time. 5 years in sports, in any type of sports, it's really like 10 years. Especially once you get past your 30, you're on the decline. Especially in mixed martial art comebacks, boxing, any type of fighting. That's a big age difference right there. And the fact that Ronda Rousey had her more recent match back in 2019, 2020? I'm not sure, man. I don't follow her that much, but it was against Amanda Nunes. So whenever that was still her most recent fight. And since then, she has kept herself in somewhat tip-top shape, while Carano didn't. Carano had to drop more in weight, and you could tell it was a mixed match from the start. If anyone really thought Carano was going to beat Ronda Rousey, I'm sorry, but you guys didn't. I hope you guys did not bet your house on this. Yeah, that's all I got to say, because you would have lost everything. I was in shock. I don't think it was a work. I really do think that Ronda just had the better, just was more skilled. I think Ronda's technically a lot more skilled than Carano was, because if you looked at Carano's career, it wasn't long.
No.
And she wasn't as skilled. She was skilled at the time being, because it wasn't as big as it was when Ronda Rousey took over the scene. And when she took over that scene, a lot of these women UFC fighters came out of nowhere, and they were a lot more skilled than her.
Yeah.
It's a different era, and it showed. And the fact that her last match was like years ago, and she hasn't done much since then.
She hasn't done anything except for movies.
Yeah, except, man, she hasn't done movies lately.
No, she hasn't done much.
Well, she got blacklisted from Hollywood, unfortunately.
Sure did.
And we're not going to talk about that. But regardless, in my personal opinion, I saw no work. A lot of wrestling fans thought it was a work, but I just don't see it, man. Unless you're in the ring, unless you train for that, unless you really get into it, there is a lot of factors to go into it, and it was always gonna be against Carano. It
Yeah,
always was. This was an A side versus a B side, and it really showed that night.
it did.
Um, Overall, was it entertaining? I say personally, yes, but like everybody else in that arena, we all cheered because it was crazy. But that's when reality set in. We're like, fuck, that's it. We didn't get much of a match after that, but it was going to be a mismatch. It just was. I was surprised it lasted.
17 seconds.
I thought it was going to last a minute, and then she was going to tap out. I had it a minute. I didn't think it was going to be 17 seconds. That's what really surprised me. SG3, I'm sorry. Go ahead, take the floor.
No, brother, you're good. I actually agree with you 100% on everything you said. Ronda has been keeping active. Yeah, she's been doing her stuff. She's been in WWE, was in some MMA stuff, came back for a second WWE run, did a quick little thing with AEW. So she has been more active. Gina, yes, she was dehydrated as all hell. You have to drop 100 pounds in 6 weeks. Holy shit, are you tired?
It probably affected her mental too.
Mentally, but on
Yeah.
top of it's just mentally, physically. You're 44 years old. I did not know she was 44 until
Oh yeah,
today.
she's
Holy
older.
cow, I
Yeah.
did not know. I knew she was older, but just not that much older. That's one. Two is like you dropped dropped the 100 pounds. So it's like in 6 weeks. You people don't understand. You dropping that much weight that fast, it really fucks with you emotionally,
yeah.
mentally, drain. It does so much to you.
So let me add a quick contest. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, you're good.
So like I used to, do the whole bodybuilder thing, also like, just try to lift strong, lift heavy. So when you're bulking up, let's say you're at, I don't know, 200 and you drop down to 160, you lose strength.
Mhm.
You lose a lot of strength because you don't have all that extra, all that extra fat
Muscle,
in you.
yeah.
Which for Carano, I'm not saying for it, when you're an athlete, you're probably trained for that. For someone who hasn't been on the octagon for 17 years, that's gonna hit you.
If she had more time to train, it would have been a little more entertaining. Now, mind you, I'm not sitting here saying it would have gone 5 rounds. I think it would have gone still a little bit longer than the 17 seconds.
Yeah.
I could see 2 minutes. However, back to what I was saying though, she has not been, except for doing movies, which now she's blacklisted from Hollywood, so she hasn't done much of anything unless she's getting Deadpool reruns or X-Men reruns. Other than that, though, she just wanted a payday.
Yeah.
That's what, if anything, it was. If you want to call it a fix because of that, then yeah, there's a fix. She wanted a payday. She got it. That's all she wanted.
So, well, that's the thing though. I don't think it was for a payday because her family's fucking filthy rich. Her family owns I don't know what hotel, but they're worth about $750 million.
I thought 750, 725, 750, but that's still a lot of money.
$750 million is a lot of money. She doesn't need the money.
No.
She doesn't at all. This was Ronda Rousey trying to help Gina Carano to get her mental health back into state because she was depressed.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, because she's not getting any work, she's not doing anything. This was just Ronda Rousey helping her friend out. So people say it was a work too, because in the end of the whole match, they just hugged it out, smiled, laughed about it, and people say, "Well, that was a work right there. That shows you it's a work. That just shows you they're friends."
Come on, man. I mean, look. I mean, like,
Ronda looks up to Carano. No matter if she beats her that night, she still looks up to her idol because that was her idol growing up. Yes, they're not that far off, but Gina Carano really set the bar for women's MMA. Afterwards came Ronda Rousey, which brought out a bit of evolution to it. Whether you like it or admit it or not, she did do that for MMA.
She did. Honestly, she was a pioneer. She was one of the pioneers for women's MMA.
Yeah. So it was just more of the fact for them smiling and laughing because they're best friends. At the end of the day, they're just best friends. Look, the minute they smiled and hugged, I said it myself. This is gonna look bad for them. Yeah. I know it was gonna look bad. You don't do that type of stuff if you're really trying to sell tickets. So in a way, this didn't really affect their stocks because once they interviewed Ronda Rousey, so this is also why I brought up this whole segment towards the end. So once they interview Ronda Rousey, they ask her what's next, and for us, we thought maybe she'll go back to wrestling, maybe she'll go into AEW. They asked her what's next. She said, "Well, look, I'm retired. I'm gonna go back home, make more babies, and go back to the kitchen. Which that was her words, not mine. I don't know why she said that because she said that not too long ago. So that kind of kills hope because I don't think she's going to return to wrestling. I don't
No.
think she's going to return to MMA. That's for sure. She's done. She just seems like she's done with all this. She just wants to focus on her family and just let her be. You know,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. Ronda
She holds her
Rousey.
books. She's getting paid off. She's getting royalties off of that, so she's fine.
Yeah. For Gina, about the same thing. I think she's done with MMA for sure. Because
Hopefully, she gets jobs for it soon.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's tricky with all that. But regardless, we could also talk about some things on that crowd that night that kind of stuck out. Dom and Liv were there. We also had CM Punk being there as well. So here's the thing I want to talk about. Them being there, but also them being affiliated with TKO is kind of odd. Because this was a rival promotion, technically.
Yeah.
MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Paul, I think, has some sort of investment in it.
It does.
And Jake Paul is banned from WWE right now.
Yeah.
Because he has beef with TKO's Dana White and the UFC.
Yeah. For not paying the UFC fighters enough.
So why would they have CM Punk, Dom, Liv? I'm sure someone else was out there that I'm missing. All be there that night.
I don't know.
It's odd, right?
It's a little odd. I mean, I know for sure, even though she's not affiliated anymore with WWE, but because of her boyfriend, husband, whatever the hell he is, to her now. CJ Perry was there, which Lana was there too. So,
well, I mean, is it controversial when they're burying Rusev already? How bad could it get at this point? What are you trying to say there? Rusev's going to get buried next week? He's been buried. If anything, they're trying to dig him out now. No, but it is kind of weird that you have Punk, you have these guys out there.
Ariel Helwani was there too.
Yeah.
And he works for ESPN.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, what? I mean, maybe they just were invited by Netflix, but I'm surprised that TKO let them accept it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's odd. For me, I think Punk does whatever he wants no matter what.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the guys, it was really odd. It was a weird look. I don't understand it. It's interesting. It was interesting that night. I don't know. Any more thoughts on this?
I don't have any more thoughts, man.
Yeah, so regardless, man, I mean, it was entertaining fight. I guess you could say for the whole what it lasted
15 seconds.
15, 17 seconds. I hope you guys didn't make any bets for Gina. I mean, it was always going to be
here, a brave person.
Yeah, like I said, it was an A versus B side, and that's all it was. But like I said, we got another comment.
They gave Punk the script.
What did he say that day? He said something odd. I forgot. He was going for Ronda Rousey though.
I think aren't they friends though? Because
they are friends.
Yeah, I was like, aren't they friends? I mean, I can see even him saying, you know what, dude? At the end of the day, TKO, you can do whatever you want to me, but this is my friends. I'm gonna support him. And even Punk has said multiple times, if my friend's doing something, I'm gonna support my friends.
Well, if you look at Punk's thing, Punk does what he wants because WWE. We're not trying to get political, but they're on one side, Punk's on the other side.
Yeah,
clearly. So no matter in the end of the day, Punk doesn't care. He has friends. He has something he likes. He's going to do it. He doesn't care about the backlash. I mean, he shouldn't. He's a fucking megastar.
Yeah.
What else he got?
Nick said he predicted the fight the exact way it went down.
He did actually. Yeah, that's what he said. He predicted the fucking fight. And for a guy who got his ass whooped in the octagon, he did a pretty good job. Twice. Ran for his fucking life. And I'm a Punk's fan. But I got to admit, that was the stupidest shit he ever did was going to the octagon at an old age thinking he could actually put up a fight. Nah, my man, look, it was never going to end well.
It was in his 20s, maybe.
In his 20s, maybe. But even then, it's like it was a little too late. But look, I give him credit where credit's due. At least he did what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And conquered his fears and dreams that day. That's what he did say. And I was surprised, actually. He did got it right. I mean, it is what it is. We did mention about Io Sky getting married.
Congratulations again.
Congratulations with that. I mean, that came out of left field too.
Yeah.
Because there were speculations that they weren't sure they were still dating because there was not that much social media posts. And so people weren't too sure. And then out of nowhere, this marriage came along. And I'm like, well, that was quick and that was interesting. Like all of a sudden this shit comes along. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Congrats to them.
Honestly,
man, I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see what's the next crazy shit they're gonna do.
who she made? She made it evil.
Yeah, she made it
know.
evil. Yeah,
Yeah.
her boyfriend, who supposedly signed with NXT. That's the whole thing, is that he signed with WWE. So when is he gonna debut? Did I miss the debut? Because I don't watch
no,
NXT.
he was. He actually did debut on NXT.
Oh, he did it on NXT.
He debuted after WrestleMania.
Oh, right. So that makes sense. They're both
Yeah.
finally in the promotion, so they're both able to marry on a probably, even turf and all. So it helped them out pretty much. But regardless, guys, man, thank you for joining us tonight. I'll be back live Friday night around, I don't know, we'll figure out the time, but until then, hit the like and subscribe button to get notified the next time we go live. We might do some 2K streaming tomorrow night, because I think today is a little late, but tomorrow night, come join me for 2K streaming. I'm gonna do a little bit more My Rise, because I gotta get that stuff going. But I appreciate you all. Remember, hit the likes button for us, because it means a lot. Until next time, see you next time. Dig it.
Peace.